Hello Power Rangers Lightning Collection fans, and welcome back to Toku Topics. Today, we're talking about logos. They are an important part of any type of brand. They let you know what it is that you're getting and what the brand represents. But sometimes even parts of Power Rangers, such as toy lines, have numerous logos to represent what those are. So of course, today I'm talking about the Lightning Collection logo. While it might not be obvious at first, the logo used by Hasbro on the packaging for the Lightning Collection has actually slightly changed since the line was first introduced back in 2018. At Power Morphicon 2018, which saw the debut of the line with Mighty Morphin White in his prototype assembly video that they had on the show floor, featured this logo for the Lightning Collection. This logo included the regular version of the general franchise logo font that was introduced at the beginning of 2018. However, the text for the words Lightning Collection were included in a placeholder manner, something to just let people know what this line would be called, and likely never intended to be used as the final logo on the packaging for the line. Besides its appearance in the video for MMPR White, this logo would not ever be used by Hasbro officially again. While not used on the finished boxes, sometimes retailers will still use this logo in promotional material, so you can spot it every once in a while. The first proper Lightning Collection logo was introduced in 2019. At first glance, this might just look like the one that we are still using currently, and for the most part it is. However, at the very beginning of the line, the name Saban was featured at the top of the logo, just like the main franchise one. This was the case for the first 17 figure releases during year 1 of the line. By the time Wave 3 released in the fall of 2019 with MMPR Red, Saban's name was dropped from the logo. This original Saban's version of the logo debuted when the boxes for the line were shown off during New York Toy Fair 2019, and it's continued to be the base logo for the line going forward. It features a black and white minimal design. Gone are the outlines and the shadows of the main show logo, instead going for a flat design that stands out on the primarily white color of the packaging. This default black logo on a white background also had the inverse of it used occasionally, whenever black would be used on a color other than white so it wouldn't get lost. This default white logo was on the retailer exclusive figures in 2019. Back at the beginning of the line, retailer exclusive figures would feature a color-coded box based on what the figure was. This was eventually dropped by the end of 2020, but because of these box variants, a white version of the 2019 logo was featured on the boxes for the Dragon Shield Black Ranger at Walgreens and the In-Space Psycho Blue Ranger at GameStop, while a navy blue design was present exclusively for the Mighty Morphin Goldar GameStop release. One outlier released to not use the full version of the Saban's logo during 2019 was the international release version of the San Diego Comic-Con Jason 2-pack. For some reason, this box didn't list Lightning Collection at all on the packaging, and just had the regular Power Rangers logo as part of the logo present. Due to the lack of depth on this logo, we can tell that it's just the original Lightning Collection font for Power Rangers, just without the words Lightning Collection for whatever reason. Moving out of 2019, that's where we get to the current logo for the Lightning Collection. This present day logo is the same one as since the beginning, minus the Saban's name. Most releases in the line will include this version of the logo, the primary black text with a white background. Though just as what happened with the Saban's variant, the longevity of this logo being used has led to a number of slight variations depending on what release that it's used on. The first slight variant of this logo was on the GameStop wedding set of Zed and Rita, where the logo had a slight silver foil reflectiveness to it to celebrate the 25th wedding anniversary of the episode. A foil reflective variant would be used once again, this time in gold, on the Walmart exclusive Power Morpher release during the summer of 2020. And this gold foil variant would be used once again in some batches of the Pink Ranger Morpher in 2021. That item mostly had boxes shipped with the black logo, but there have been found in the wild boxes with the gold foil variant for whatever reason, plus this one promo shot that shows that at one point in time it was going to have the gold foil, and some of them just have the normal black on white font. Just as with the original 2019 logo, where black is the primary color used most of the time, there are certain releases that feature it in white, such as the SPD Omega Ranger Uniforce Cycle at Amazon, In-Space Psycho Green at Hasbro Pulse, and the Putty Patroller 2-pack at Hasbro Pulse. But that's not all for Lightning Collection variant logos. There was also some special sublines for the Lightning Collection that featured their own original logos, even if they were only used for promotional materials. The first of these special logos were both shown off during the presentation at Hasbro PulseCon 2020. For whatever reason, with their debut, these logos would be shown off at the convention and then featured again when pre-orders launched on a Fan First Friday in October 2020, but the final releases for each of these new logos would not be included on the boxes. This was the Lightning Collection Monsters and Lightning Collection Versus Pack logos. The Monsters logo was introduced using a backdrop of villain art that was used for clothing designs during 2018's 25th anniversary celebration. It featured an extension to the regular logo with a silly font for the word Monsters. Had the Monsters subline lasted multiple waves like it was supposed to, instead of just having one wave destined for discount stores and a couple of standalone releases after that, it would have been cool to see this logo used on the final boxes to help them stand out from regular figures. And just like with Lightning Collection Monsters, there was also the logo for Lightning Collection Versus. This was used to introduce the Versus Packs Wave 1 during PulseCon 2020. It features blue and red lightning that convey the showdown between the characters in the line. While Versus was another line that was phased out rather quickly, it actually ended up getting 2 waves of releases, and with it featuring a good and evil character in each set, this logo would have been great to have in the box for a series of releases that had endless potential. Hasbro PulseCon 2020's presentation just kept going with short-lived logo variations, and the last one that they introduced was the Spectrum series logo. For the most part, this is just the silver foil variant of the current logo that we talked about earlier from the wedding set, but here it was much more reflective on the final boxes to match the foil patterns that all the Spectrum releases had as Target exclusives. This line had releases for Mainline Wave 7, Monsters Wave 1, and Versus Wave 1, which means if Monsters and Versus had actually used their unique logos, it could have been possible that silver variants of those logos would have existed at 1.2. Unlike the last 3 logos that would be made for sublines and not used on the boxes for them in the final product, there is one case where the logo was actually used to distinguish that these figures were still part of the line, but were also something different: Remastered. This logo can be found on the boxes for the set of MMPR figures released in 2023 in celebration of the 30th anniversary of the franchise. As the name implies, this logo is to show that these are new versions of the previously made figures, and while figure re-releases have been a thing since the beginning, these remastered releases are created with the intent of redoing them in their best possible formats to date, with additional accessories, paint, new heads, and a higher price point. The final main logos for Lightning Collection figures are from the multiple collab series that have been part of the line since 2021. This began with the TMNT series, which introduced the collab template with the logo of the franchise being crossed over with an X in the middle, to also represent the idea of crossover. At first, this X sort of looks like a shuriken, something that could have been used for strictly TMNT specifically, but a year later, this same template was used for the Street Fighter and Cobra Kai collabs released in 2022 and 2023. It works well while still fitting in the style of the Lightning Collection, giving each brand an equal amount of focus and still having the large Lightning Collection name show how each brand is present within this subline. And of course, all this brings us to the final logo for the Lightning Collection, Hasbro's line of 1/144 scaled Zord and Megazord releases, the Zord Ascension project. Having taken nearly 4 years to be part of the line, Hasbro knew that the introduction to the ever so popular robots of the franchise had to be special. So while other older sublines never got their logos actually on the box besides Remastered, Zord Ascension Project, or ZAP as it's commonly shortened to, got their own logo front and center. The design of the logo comes from the Z pattern found on the designs for the Arsenal of Zyuranger. Hasbro has taken this original meaning of the Z and now claims it stands for Zord, making it the central logo of ZAP, as well as being a way to have some sort of MMPR connection even if the releases are not from that season. For ZAP releases, the logo for the subline itself is actually present on the box larger than the Lightning Collection logo that is also there, but there is also a gold color variant that is not reflected this time that is used on the side of the boxes and on the Zord database website that is used to tie to each release. However, a possible logo variant was spotted in November 2022 during a presentation held by Hasbro Brazil. During this presentation, a slide showed a tease for the upcoming ZAP Tiger Zord, by including art of the chest for that Megazord with the name Zord Ascension Project written below it. And with that, that is every logo that there has been for Hasbro's Power Rangers Lightning Collection to date. While this is a topic that might not have been super interesting to everyone, I have always had a personal interest in graphic designs and logos used by companies, so seeing the difference in what logos are used for what and how is something I often look at. Until next time, be sure to follow me on Twitter at LivingRangerKey or at LightningFigPR, and I will see you all later. Before I wrap up this video, I want to go ahead and thank my $5 above Patreon members and channel members: Jurassic Samurai, Maggot Alchemist, Robert Browning, Static Thunder, Brendan Overland, Maji Yellow, MCPC Studios, James Darty, Matthew Thorne, Josh Landry, Pyramidas, Cross SCV, Caboose Ed, Socket Monsters, Daniel Pica, Jesus Prime, Louis Carnes, Carlos Alfredo, Gavin Greenlee, and Austin Jones. If you'd like to support Toku Topics, you can do so either here on YouTube as a channel member or on Patreon for as little as $1 a month, linked in the description below.